Hello and welcome. This is the Midday News. Emmanuel Toxicman Muganawa, a prominent sound engineer and a producer from Papua New Guinea, has been named a finalist in the International Singer-Songwriters Association, or ISSA Awards 2024. This marks the first time Papua New Guinea sound engineer and producer has reached this milestone. Known for his exceptional work with artists like Enslom and Jokema, Muganawa will compete for International Sound Engineer of the Year in Atlanta this August. Enslom and his band will also perform live at the event celebrating Muganawa's remarkable achievement and wishing him success. A tentative itinerary for the Pope has been prepared ahead of his visit in September. He is expected to arrive at 8:15 p.m. on the 6th of September from Indonesia and will be officially welcomed at the airport. On the 7th of September, he will pay a courtesy call to the Governor-General at the Government House at 9:45 a.m. and then will meet with the government representatives, NGOs and civil society group representatives at APEC House. On the afternoon of the same day, he will visit Caritas Technical Secondary School, where he will have an interaction with the Street Children Ministry that is run by the Archdiocese of Port Moresby and members of the Kalan Service. He will then proceed to DBTI, where he meets with members of the different religious groups. On Sunday, he meets with the Prime Minister before presiding over Mass at the stadium.
And then we want to, the papal visit does not happen from 6 to 9th and it is finished, no, but we try to reflect about the message that he brings long after he is gone from here. So that is the purpose for which we have a logo as well as the theme.
Local churches and communities in rural areas are urged by the Mission Aviation Fellowship to work in hands with the government to ensure airstrips are in good condition for basic services to reach those areas. The poor state of the airstrips in the East Sepik and Sundown provinces have been a reason of concern for MAF. The airstrips' condition has deteriorated over time due to lack of funding and maintenance. MAF PNG General Manager for Aviation and Senior Pilot Brad Ventas said, if an airstrip becomes unsafe, MAF has to cease flying there. Recently, MAF ministry team spent a week touring Sundown, East Sepik and Midday provinces to learn more about the challenges church leaders face in those communities and to offer help. In one way or another, Ventas shared that MAF have tried to ensure that they are always able to provide this service and have never stopped flying in the Sundown province and Vanimo and Wewak. Heated debates erupted in State Parliament as the opposition pushed for immediate passage of a bill proposing bail changes for alleged domestic violence offenders. Introduced just today, the government's bill includes stricter bail, test and electronic monitoring measures. However, Labour has urged caution, arguing the issue is too critical to rush and accusing the coalition of politicising the matter.
Law and order may be top of the Premier's agenda, but he needs boots on the ground to help enforce the law. So the government's hoping to poach police from interstate and even New Zealand. To sweeten the deal, many will be allowed to keep their existing rank.
You'll be joining the best police force in the world.
40% of police work is related to domestic and family violence, and officers could soon have to keep tabs on alleged offenders who've been fitted with tracking bracelets. That's part of a wider domestic violence bail reform plan that the opposition backs.
We'll obviously look at the detail of the bill, but in principle we support its general direction.
But hours later, before seeing that detail, the opposition demanded the bill be debated immediately and passed through Parliament by the end of tomorrow.
36,000 domestic violence incidents reported last year requires us to act urgently and not put this off until the June sittings of this Parliament.
But at the same time, you've got Mr Magoo getting up here and wanting to rush through a bill that he doesn't even know what's in it.
It is completely irresponsible.
The government had the numbers in the House and shut it down.
I have never seen a proposal from an opposition that is such a dereliction of their duty.
We know that it's very easy to make changes into the Bail Act that have adverse outcomes, that maybe are not well thought through or easy to implement. And when that happens, we don't get the outcome we're looking for.
Even if they were passed this week, the government says the bail changes wouldn't have taken effect until July. While many domestic violence campaigners agree it's important to get the legislation right, they also say any unnecessary delay could cost lives.
The Treasurer's priority was to address the cost of living. The question is how it has been received. Many are thankful for some help paying energy bills, but others aren't satisfied, particularly in terms of addressing housing costs.
There are winners and losers every year.
There was nothing in the budget for rubble.
Rubble's owners, however, are among the millions of Australians desperate for relief from the cost of living crunch.
I don't think it's really going to fix the problems that we're all looking at.
At the centre of the budget's reprieve is $300 taken off every electricity bill in the country. But don't expect cash in your pocket. $75 each quarter will instead be automatically deducted. Crucial relief for some.
It's bill gone up to about 20% of the bill from the last years.
But it doesn't matter what you earn, even those with holiday houses will save on each property's bill.
Gina Reinhardt gets it too. No. Means test, how hard is that?
Consumer groups say more than half of Australians were worried they wouldn't be able to pay their power bills in the next 3 years. While every household will receive the energy rebate, the main housing benefit announced last night will only go to those already receiving Commonwealth rental assistance. Nearly 1 million Australian low-income households are eligible, and the maximum rate will increase by 10%. In North Melbourne, Ayushi Killen's rental costs $700 a week. The PhD student doesn't qualify for government help and relies on her parents to make ends meet. She would have liked to see more for those studying in the budget.
I wouldn't have needed to rely on my family, which makes me feel so guilty. If I had youth allowance, it would have been such a relief off my shoulders.
With advertised rents surging more than 9% in the past year, she's not the only one wishing for a win.
A statue of a controversial colonial-era Tasmanian premier has been toppled in Hobart. The momentum-honoured premier, William Crowther, a controversial figure whose actions in the 1800s infuriated Tasmania's Aboriginal community.
It's a crime scene of historical significance, a colonial-era statue lying face down in the grass after being sawn off at the ankles.
We condemn vandalism. Vandalism doesn't build bridges, it doesn't build goodwill, it is unlawful.
William Crowther's statue had been in place in central Hobart since 1889. Its overnight removal leaving supporters in shock.
I found out from this by the Crowther's great-great-granddaughter in tears ringing me. Pure devastation. Crowther did a lot of good things.
Crowther was a former premier and surgeon in Tasmania, but he also cut off and stole the skull of Aboriginal man William Lanny.
This man mutilated an Aboriginal man because of his race.
For decades, Tasmania's Aboriginal community has campaigned for the statue's removal, saying it's an offensive reminder of the many atrocities perpetrated since colonisation. Hobart City Council last year voted for it to go, but the statue remained in situ pending an appeal.
Someone's taken it upon themselves to bring about some action and justice for Aboriginal people.
The outcome of the review was revealed just hours after the statue was toppled, with a tribunal finding in favour of the council's previous decision to remove it from its plinth and replace it with a sign.
This is a very important decision for Hobart's commitment to truth-telling.
The damaged statue is now being stored in a secure location, with no plans to return it to its plinth.
The PNG National Rugby Sevens team, KPHL PNG Pukpuks, departed for the World Rugby Sevens Challenger Series Leg 3 in Germany, set to commence tomorrow. Before the event kicks off, the Pukpuks has received a lot of criticism from rugby fans, questioning the selection process, given that all players making the team are rookies except for Paul Tono, who has a couple of representative matches under the belt. President of PNG Rugby Union Paul Siwi is clearing the air, said the PNG Pukpuks has all its top 30 players in the camp. He said most of the players cannot make the team and were not considered for selection because of poor discipline. It will be a very good lesson to learn from. Paul added that even if the Pukpuks win the series or finish in the top 4, it will still mean nothing because they have lost the last 2 series. He said it is best the new guys are given the opportunity to get the experience as the team prepares for the future events. The World Challenger Series is scheduled for tomorrow, 17th to 19th May 2024 in Germany. The FIFA Council has approved the Women's International Match calendar for 2026 to 2029, as well as providing some updates on upcoming FIFA men's and women's competitions with positive outcomes for OFC. The decision was made in advance of the 74th FIFA Congress in Bangkok, Thailand. The Women's International Match calendar 2026 to 2029 is the result of a consultation process that has been underpinned by extensive research and analysis in coordination with the confederations and other stakeholders. The calendar will provide more opportunities for rest and recovery for players throughout the calendar, with a reduction in the number of windows from 6 to 5 facilities, less disruption to domestic leagues and reduced travel. FIFA says the Women's International Match calendar and the subsequent amendments to regulations represent an important milestone to take the women's game to the next level by enhancing competitiveness across the world. And that ends the midday news. Do join us at 6 tonight for the main news. Bye now.